Hello, welcome to Stars and Stones painting show. Tonight it is really hard not to go outside. The moon's almost full, it's really bright and beautiful, but the front door is open. I'm actually working in my living room. I own a home that is basically turned into a giant studio space for myself. And I have a really cool front yard. A freeway runs, less than a mile up, so you can hear the cars going. It really is, kind of flow of life sound, like a river flowing. Um, Great ambiance. But in true nerdy fashion, what I felt like listening tonight is the Book of Thomas. If you've not read the Book of Thomas, well, I've not read it, I've just listened to it on tape. It's not actually part of the whole thing. It's kind of one of the outliers. And whatever person wrote this, whatever human, whatever name he had or didn't have, if he existed or if he's a myth or a constellation or a story or a person that has been deified, or just a made up story, which made me think, are any stories true? Like, even the most factual, intentionally factual observations. It's one of those days, yeah. So, the chore for today, and I think it's why it took me so long to get to this point, not that I don't like it, I'm worried about why anyone would find it interesting for why anyone would not find this character interesting. And so I look for different ways to talk about the stars to the capacity that I can as a, neo-astronomer. Just learning constellations and distances and theories. And I think the coolest realization that you come to when you start to think of the movements of the sun, the planets, and the stars, and their sizes, how miraculous it is that things like eclipses and seasons and everything happen. It's enough even right now just to make me, just thinking about the beauty of it. And the beauty of nature in general. And yet, everything is also so horrifying. And I mean, the things we don't tell our kids, how horrifying everything is. But it is a balance, is it not? Even protecting your inner innocence when, as an adult, how far will I go into something that appears really twisted? To what end and for what gain? And, will I protect my energy enough that it's not like nothing's ever going to touch a person, right? Um, we all are just thrown into being, just come right out of our mamas running, right? So I think I should start cutting on, waxing on about nothing and everything. But I did have a purpose today. Oh, let me go stop the screen from going back and forth. And that was just to get a little bit silly with this book of Thomas.
The Gospel of Thomas. These are the hidden sayings that the living Jesus spoke, and Judas Thomas the twin recorded. And he said, "Whoever discerns the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death." Jesus said, "Let one who seeks not stop seeking until one finds. When one finds, one will be troubled. When one is troubled, one will marvel and will reign over all." Jesus said, "If your leaders say to you, 'Look, the kingdom is in heaven,' then the birds of heaven will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside you, and it is outside you. When you know yourself."
Now that is so forward thinking. Not just in a philosophical, theological, or anything kind of way, but even like in just an actual materialistic physical kind of way. The kingdom is outside you and inside you. What you seek is everywhere. This thing that everyone searches for, the boundlessness of a relationship, or creating, using being in the act of creating. I'm not sure all artists enjoy selling art or talking about art. I know that it's not my forte, even though I was an art teacher for 15 years. There it was actually my job to, instruct without being too personal about it. I mean, as an artist, you want to share your experience in your art, but, friendship and educator is two different things. So you're not going to be, or, even talking about your art and own art in your studio. You're trying to teach people skills and how to evolve their own skills. And you can share your experiences, but it's a different platform. I'm not really interested in. I mean, if somebody learns some techniques or some strategies from things I'm doing, that's good. But the purpose of this is just for me to have fun and connect with other artists, and also to get used to having to talking just on the camera. Wow, that's really hard to cut. Makes me wish I had an X-Acto knife right now. Woo! Oh wait, let me start this again.
Then you will be.
Like he was saying. And this is why I'm so glad. For some reason, I listened to some messages, and the most important message came through loud and clear. And I'm not exactly where I heard it or how I heard it, but that was just to, try different things, but, protect like your core, your inner beliefs, and don't like sell your actual self. I don't know how to describe it. Like, don't do something that is against your own nature for whatever reason, to gain whatever. Because if you do that, not only have you lost the thing that you were trying to gain, right? But then you've also lost your own nature. And if losing nature, I mean, this is the kingdom, y'all. This is the kingdom. There might be something else, we don't know, but the kingdom is here. It's in you. It's all around you. It's like the Book of Thomas. I mean, I like it, right? And I'm not religious, and I'm not a theologian, but this is really cool. Let's listen to some more. Is it gonna play?
And you will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourself...
Okay, children of the living Father. The only Father of all of us that's always living is the Son. Now, it could also be the moon. Because your father could die before you were born. So the living Father, like the one that is giving you your life right now, carrying you through the Milky Way, that would be the Son.
Then you dwell in poverty, and you are poverty. Jesus said, the person old in days will not hesitate to ask a little child 7 days old about the place of life, and that person will live. For many of the first will be last, and will become a single one. Jesus said, know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be disclosed to you.
Know what is in front of your face. And what is hidden will be disclosed to you. Know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden will be disclosed to you. I mean, this is epic. uh, speaking in riddles, kind of teachings.
For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. His disciples asked him and said to him, "Do you want us to fast? How should we pray? Should we give to charity? What diet should we observe?" Jesus said, "Do not lie, and do not do what you hate, because all things are disclosed before heaven. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and there is nothing covered that will not remain undisclosed." Jesus said, "Blessed is the lion that the human will eat, so that the lion becomes human, and cursed is the human that the lion will eat, and the lion will become human." And he said, "Humankind is like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of little fish. Among them the wise fisherman discovered a large fish. He threw all the little fish back into the sea, and with no difficulty chose the large fish. Whoever has ears to hear should hear." Jesus said, "Look, the sower went out, took a handful of seeds, and scattered them. Some fell on the road, and the birds came and pecked them up. Others fell on rock, and they did not take root in the soil, and did not produce heads of grain. Others fell on thorns, and they choked the seeds, and worms devoured them. And others fell on good soil, and it brought forth a good crop. It yielded 60 per measure, and 120 per measure." Jesus said, "I have thrown fire upon the world, and look, I am watching it until it blazes." Jesus said, "This heaven will pass away, and the one above it will pass away. The dead are not alive, and the living will not die. During the days when you ate what is dead, you made it alive. When you are in the light."
During the days when you ate what is dead, you made it alive. So these are just such beautiful, ways of saying things. Like, isn't it magical that you eat something that's dead and it becomes you and becomes alive? I eat banana becomes Amy. Is that not magical? But it happens every day. But believe me, for, the majority of human existence, you would not have been around so many people. You might have known, what? If you knew 1,000 people in your life, like if you saw 1,000 faces, remember there's no pictures, very little writing. I mean, and this is up to very, very recently in our history. So it's really just amazing, the things that this author or authors says. It's beautiful.
What will you do? On the day when you were one, you became two. But when you become two, what will you do? The disciples said to Jesus, "We know that you're going to leave us. Who will be our leader?" Jesus said to them, "No matter where you have come from, you are to go to James the Just, for whose sake heaven and earth came into being." Jesus said to his disciples,
Okay, I'd like to know who James is, because Jesus himself apparently says through Judas Didymus Thomas, his twin, that James the Just is the reason why heaven and earth came into being. I mean, I know a lot of Jameses, but I don't know any of them that are quite that dynamic. I'm just being so silly. Okay. That's just crazy.
"Compare me to something and tell me what I am like." Simon Peter said to him,
Let me make sure I'm on.
"You're like a just messenger." Matthew said to him,
Going good.
"You're like a wise
And I've
philosopher."
already got 2 done. Look. Oh, I forgot to show you them when I finished them. The Wolf and the Plow.
Utterly unable to say.
This is Ursa Minor of The Wolf and the Plow.
Jesus said,
And
"I
then we
am
also
not your
have
teacher.
Cygnus the Swan or the
Because
Horse
you have
Maiden.
drunk, you have become intoxicated from the bubbling spring that I have tended." And he took him and withdrew him and spoke 3 sayings to him. When Thomas came back to his friends, they asked him, "What did Jesus say to you?"
I feel like I should tell you who this reader is. Corey Dow. And this is on the 13th tribe, and I've already subscribed and liked. The Gospel of
Thomas
Thomas.
said to them,
Nag Hammadi.
"If I tell you one of the sayings he spoke to me, you will pick up rocks and stone me, and fire will come from the rocks and consume you." Jesus said to them, "If you fast, you will bring sin upon yourselves. And if you pray, you will be condemned. And if you give to charity, you will harm your spirits. When you go into any region and walk through the countryside, when people receive you, eat what they serve you, and heal the sick among them. For what goes into your mouth will not defile you. Rather, it is what comes out of your mouth that will defile you."
That is profound. When you go out into the world, and someone eats some funny stuff, that is the least of your worries, right? You should be trying to help people that need it, and watching what comes out of you. That was a beautiful way of putting the interaction that you have with the world. Which leads back to something that he said earlier, you are heaven. What are you like to deal with, At least don't let me be the problem, right? So even on full moon days, when I'm feeling a little rambunctious, and it is Friday night, and I could go out downtown and put on a dress, but for some reason that's not this night. One thing is that I don't like taking a car into downtown anymore. I really like to take an Uber. So, and then I know I'm going to leave a meal when I get there, a meal before I leave, because if I go, I'm going all night. hotel lobby till the after party. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. All right, so back to the book of Thomas. And I think that if Thomas went down to Deep Ellum and walked down the street and felt the beautiful energy of all the lovely music coming out of all the clubs, there are nights when, you know, it might feel kind of heavenly. First after the shock of the lights and the amount of people and the tallness of the buildings. And how fucking expensive everything is. Of course, it's Jesus, so people would just give him money or food. Alright. Because they would know. It's just Jesus. All this money we're collecting all these years, this is the guy that it goes to. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling exceedingly silly this evening. Alright. So this is the one I'm working on right now. This is Hercules. He's the hero. He does all the labor, all the work. He keeps everything together, even in death, in the underworld. His counterpart, Ophiuchus, the 13th sign of the zodiac. So he is a two-self being, a living and a dead at the same time. So at one point, at one time, he is a circumpolar constellation, and at the next level, he is he does all the labors of the zodiac. For example, the bull of Taurus, he has to fight the bull of heaven. He has to slay the serpent. Swan, the apples, the eggs, 12 stories of how one for each month and one for each epoch of the precessional cycle.
Jesus said, when you see one who was not born of a woman, fall on your faces and worship. That is your Father. Jesus said,
okay, when you see one that was not born of a woman, one what? One living thing that one what? That was not born of a woman. That is what you should worship. No person should you worship. Maybe that's, I don't know.
the earth. Fire, sword, war. For there will be 5 in a house. There will be 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Father against son, son against father, and they will stand alone. Jesus said, I shall give you what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no hand has touched, what has not arisen in the human heart. The disciples said to Jesus, tell us how our end will be. Jesus said, have you discovered the beginning then, so that you are seeking the end? For where the...
Just drops of wisdom. When is the end coming? Oh, have you discovered the beginning so that now you are looking for the end? Like, you don't even know what you're looking at. You can't even figure out, because you're so incredibly brainwashed that just about basically anybody could tell you anything. You have become drunk off the babbling springs. I mean, we all get fooled, right? Into buying products that we don't need, or, spending the night with someone we probably shouldn't. Everyone gets seduced or suckered out of cash. But if you can get people to believe that there is a specific human deity that is somehow more spectacular than the rest, and that particular individual will lead to some kind of, in that case, it could be any person that could successfully teach people that